MLG Winter Championships, March 15th to March 17th. Get your pass now. Store.majorleaguegaming.com. If you're anywhere close to Dallas, if you have some money stored up in your bank account, this is what you want to spend it on. I don't care if you're trying to save for your kids' college. You want to be at this event. It's going to be the best esports event in the history of ever. So again, store.majorleaguegaming.com to get your pass. $35. If you buy it at the door, it's $50. So save yourself $15 and buy it now online. So take advantage of that. That being said, best of 5 Heart of the Swarm Winter Season Showdowns. Winner goes to Dallas, the event we're talking about. They get it all expenses paid. Of course, if you want all expenses paid, get good at StarCraft and then participate in this tournament. But Taeja versus Violet. Taeja's up 2-1. Shall we advance on into the next game of this contest?
We'll have to find out. Violet struck back pretty solid in that last game. Of course, I think the key thing there, probably more important, I mean, there was a lot of factors. There's so much went on in the game, but Taeja forgot to send his Hellbats out on the map.
Yes, they were back at his natural.
He basically just forgot half of his army and effectiveness. Very, very important to have those guys out there. So when the Zerg runs in with the speedlings, they take out the speedlings very fast, even if the Banelings connect with them. Then there's nothing for the Marines to worry about except for those Mutas. And Marines, of course, very, very strong against Mutas.
All right, here we are in game number 4 of this best of 5. In the top left-hand location, we have the red Terran player representing Team Liquid, one of the best Terran players in the world, currently up 2-1. He's 1 win away from getting an all-expenses-paid trip to the Winter Championships in Dallas, Texas. He is Taeja. His opponent in the bottom right-hand location fell down 2-0 in this series, able to win 1 in the last game. He has to win 2 more to get the trip for himself. One of the best Zerg players in the world. He is Violet, representing Team Azubu.
No proxy shenanigans going down this time by Taeja. I actually think we're probably going to see Command Center first, and indeed we are. It's kind of said, you know, most of the world-class Terran players against Zerg, they either go for some early aggression in the form of Reaper, Marines, or something, or they're going to go for that Command Center first. If you're not going to be aggressive early, why not get Command Center first? There's really nothing Zerg can do to punish it. I mean, early pulls sometimes can beat it, but they actually lose Command Center first quite often as well. So it's almost a give and take in that situation. And versus everything else, Command Center first is a very strong thing. Of course, Violet, very, very attentive in his scouting, does not want to take too much damage to proxy barracks or Reapers.
Now, a build that I'm thinking of that that we actually saw Jakji use against Dongregu in their first game.
On this map.
First game on this map. Was a very powerful build that I think Taeja, you know, he might go for, involving early Marauders, involving early Hellbats, and it has the ability to do a lot of damage. The Zerg player has to pretty much react perfectly to deal with such aggression. But, and again, if you want to see this build in action, if we don't see it here, you can check out the VODs. It's in 1080p HD right now, youtube.com/official MLGSE2, Dongregu versus Jakji Game 1. Check out the rest of the series while you're there. Phenomenal TVZ matchup. But I could see Taeja trying that out here.
He could, and that was based off Command Center first. Yep. Of course, if you're going to do a timing attack like a, you know, an 8 to 9 minute timing attack, you almost always want to go Command Center first because it'll pay off by that point. You actually have more units at the 8 to 9 minute mark if you go Command Center first than if you just try to do it off of one base. And the earlier you get that income going, the earlier you can turn into production, and then the earlier that production will actually turn into units. Double orbitals being made right now. Gas is being saved up. We could see a factory very soon. Meanwhile, SCV being very attentive in scouting. One thing when you're doing this build you have to be very careful of is early roach aggression.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think we decided Banelings were a decent response to the build as well.
Oh yes, yes. Once it comes out.
And Violet, he's been going Baneling pretty much every game in this series.
He has been.
So, you know, that could be something that Taeja might have to keep in mind. But again, like, this is all theorizing at this point. Taeja might even decide not to do that sort of build. But it's fun to talk about, fun to think about. We see a reactor being added on here from Taeja onto this barracks. Probably going to squeeze out a Hellion first and then swap it over. I think he should have enough time to do that. But it remains to be seen where he wants to go. Still only one guess. There we go. Adding on that third command center. So definitely has the mid to late game in mind going macro mode.
That's kind of Taeja's trademark. It's not too often to see this guy do this timing attack, so we're not going to see that Jakji build in action quite yet, but he is going to react around, actually not getting the Hellion, just waiting for that reactor to finish.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, maybe just wanted to spend those money in the command center. I don't know. Now adding in more and more gases, I expect we'll see something very similar to last game's compositionally from Taeja. You know, early on getting some Hellions and some Widow Mines, seeing what his opponent's doing, and then deciding how to balance his tank to Hellbat ratio as the game goes on. He hasn't been playing full mech yet, so I don't think we're going to see that. Especially considering there's a tech lab being built on a barracks that'll most likely be used for stim. Potentially, yeah, no, it'll be for stim, because if you wanted to switch to a factory, build the factory first.
Yes.
So definitely going to go for that stim follow-up behind us. Meanwhile, Widow Mines being produced at a factory, a great tool to defend early roach aggression, great tool to supplement the Hellion in trying to delay the Zerg from droning their third up. All around, very, very useful units.
Well, you know, Violet able to do something that he hasn't necessarily been able to do throughout this series, and that's spread that creep. That's get that third base. Third base is already on the ground. The creep is getting well out there. The Widow Mine coming forward has something to say about that. But Taeja has to be careful. Doesn't want to lose that Widow Mine. If 3 Queens targeted down, he could potentially lose. Nope, the Widow Mine going to stay a bit away. And I'm pretty sure Violet saw that, even, you know, brought his queen back a little bit to make sure not to get any damage. So going to react by placing down the Roach Warren, adding on nothing but drones at this point, and getting Overlord speed again before layer. I kind of like this. It's just so nice to be able to scout early, and he's probably going to send an Overlord in very soon to spot what his opponent is doing.
It's a really nice new tool that Zerg has, of course. One other thing that's very important this game, different from last game. Last game, we saw Violet get a significant upgrade advantage. Perhaps that played a role in how easy he was able to crush his opponent's army. This game, both players getting upgrades at almost the exact same time. So Taeja already in a nice shape. Upgrade-wise, of course, also different from last game. Violet's third much faster, not dying to that Hellbat attack we saw on Cloud Kingdom. You know, both players are actually just kind of getting all their stuff faster than last game. It's not so many blows being traded in the early game. Taeja, though, as soon as his starport comes up, I think we're going to start to see him put on some aggression. Oh,
yeah, and we might see a lot of drops as well, so let's make sure we're alert about those. I mean, Violet's able to spot this, though. He sees the timing of his opponent's starport. He sees the reactors and the tech labs. Sees the tech labs swirling around. So he knows his opponent's unit composition choice. Already adding on a Spore Crawler here. Actually adding it at his natural expansion, or outside of his natural expansion, to potentially provide detection for the Widow Mine. And he's not going to be in range just yet. Going to sneak it forward.
Oh, but using the Overlord to tank the Widow Mine shot, and using another Overlord to tank the other Widow Mine shot. I love this tool, because now it can come in, knock those guys out.
Here come the Roaches. Widow Mine's going to be backing away.
And they're faster than Roaches, so they can easily get out of there, of course. Once Roach speed comes into play, then they can run them down. But a nice play by both sides. Violet trying to push those back. Taeja.
Very clever.
Very, very clever in pulling them out in time to not take any losses.
Really awesome play we're seeing.
It is. This is something, you know, typically you see Zerg just mash units at those Widow Mines, lose a couple, but take them out. This time, both players preserving all their lives. You know, not a single unit was killed there because of the control we saw from both sides. Baiting speed being added in, Aspire being added in. Taeja's production is getting insane. More and more barracks they've all kicked in now. All the reactors are complete. More factories being built, more barracks are being built. Combat shield is almost done. I think we're just going to see him probably stick with just pure medevac harass for the time being, because, you know, speed baitings and with the creep spread that Violet has are going to be very hard to tackle straight on.
2 medevacs being sent to the bottom side of the map. No Spore Crawlers in Violet's main base, and these bases are pretty big, but he does have creep spreading around the majority of that space. So we'll definitely keep an eye on those medevacs and see how much damage Taeja can get.
Overlords already spot the medevacs, but Ignite Afterburners is being used. They're heading straight into what might have been the third, dropping 1 Marine and heading away. So just want to make sure there's no base there. Marine says, I'll guard this post. Maybe saying, you know, I shouldn't have said that. He's probably doubting. He's like, why did I volunteer for this mission? Come back, guys, come back. But no, they've all left him. Now meeting up with Hellbats. Never mind. Hellbats going back into Hellion mode. A little bit of unsure how he wants to approach this engagement. Scan to get rid of a lot of creep here. Spore Crawler, creep tumors going down.
So important. Violet trying to get a bunch of units on the field. Going to be extending forward with the Lings, Banelings, and Roaches. Muta's just now popping as well. Going to try to pursue these medevacs. Ooh, got to be careful. Widow Mine getting a nice shot. If there's another Widow Mine down here, I think no, it was cleared out a little bit earlier. The Roaches taking down the Hellions, or at least trying to, and the Mutas are there as well. But Taeja sees the Mutas this time. He has 3 turrets in production. He shouldn't take too much damage to this. Meanwhile, our hero Marine looks like he's getting taken out at the bottom there, but valiantly trying to stay alive. But he's gone.
Well, he put some holes in those Mulus wings. It'll flap a little bit awkwardly for the next minute or so until it regenerates. One of those Widow Mines is still alive on that ramp. You know, it's got 8 kills.
Yeah.
Wow.
Splashes.
Yeah, a lot of Zerglings have gone down to that guy, and all those things add up. You know, it's also the great scout utensil. And oh, look at that! Violet just sending a single Zergling this time, followed by a Roach. Wanting to make sure he doesn't take too much damage and reclaim that watchtower.
There should be an Overseer close by, but hold that thought. It looks like Taeja is going to try to do some aggression. He has 4 medevacs here, plenty of Marines and Hellbats. He might start scanning and clearing
away. One more Marine
creep.
gets sent to investigate what happened to his buddy down there in the 3rd.
Guys, he's gone.
I don't know where Freddy is. He didn't report back. I don't see him, but there's all this purple stuff on the ground.
Can I come back, please? Oh, guys, help!
No, he's
Taeja will send another one over there.
Yeah, that's definitely not the mission you want to have. Meanwhile, Mulus coming out across the top. They may. Oh, there's no STVs to kill here. No Widow Mines. Not gonna be able to do too much damage here. What's here in the main? The reactors are exposed.
No turrets here. No Widow Mines either. So Taeja's got to be a little bit annoyed by this. Reactor's going to be taken out here by these mutas, but can these mutas get out alive? It looks like they will. Going to head back over to this 4th base. Meanwhile, there's a drop.
The Hellbat is just doing so much damage to the Speedings in the front of the drop, sacrificing itself on the Banings as well, and this drop's actually trading really well. But
big engagement in the middle of the map. The tank's going to try to siege up. Violet going for sending forward the Banelings as well. Decent splitting there from Taeja, and Violet immediately going to back away. The drop's still doing damage at his 4th, and Taeja just trying to close out Violet here. Also sending a drop to his opponent's 4th base, and Violet is going to be really tested as far as multitasking is concerned.
Finally knocking out the drop into 3rd, but meanwhile the main army is pushing into 3rd. The drop into 4th is still not touched yet. Taeja's turning a micro against the speed Banings as he backs off creep. Violet decides not to pursue off creep. The 4th base is going to be saved, but Violet is losing so much mine time. His 4th and 3rd are really taking hits. Now the natural drones are going down as well. And
so many drones are falling.
Those Hellbats are so good against drones. Finally, the mutas are taking him out, but meanwhile, Taeja's
he saw this. He sees this with the Overlord.
Oh, is he going to be able to jump on time? It's a distraction as well, because there's another attack heading into the 3rd.
Yeah, the 3rd is going to be attacked here fairly soon. The scan going down, trying to find out, all right, what's going on. But here comes the drop into the main base. Ling's coming back to try to deal with this. Is that enough there from Taeja? And remember, he has to defend the 3rd, his 3rd as well. Marines and Marauders going down there too, but Violet is going to return back to deal with this.
Looks like he's got both sides covered very, very well. Able to deal with just about everything. But you know what? On the same hand, Taeja escapes with all 4 of his medevacs. Very few units being taken out. But wait, the mutants have caught the medevacs.
The units are just going to drop out, though. The mutants are just going to drop out.
Yeah, a few Marines saying, "All right, we'll hold the mutas off." Of course, they're unfortunately abandoned there. But you know, at least there's 3 of them this time. It's not one Marine. They have some buddies to talk to. They're all veterans too.
Yes.
All veterans of war. Damaged, and with every single one of them has at least a couple notches on his belt kill-wise.
All right, this is going to be scary. Taeja should be pushing out momentarily, I would expect. Approaching max, has plenty of Marines, plenty of tanks. It's all going to come down to positioning. I feel like Violet, more Banelings would be great for him.
The tanks! Tanks are in position. The mutas, not quite able to take a tank out, but definitely warning Taeja to stay on his toes with his positioning. He's moving out here. Violet's got to find a way to crush this army, but this is such a big army from Taeja. It's going to be very, very difficult.
He's going to try to go for it. Violet coming forward. He is on creep, sending the mutas forward to target down the tanks. The Banelings trying to explode in the Marines, but the splitting is too good from Taeja. 62 Lings in production. Roach is trying to scurry out of there, but not the best trade at all there for Violet. Still has some real estate to work with. Still has some time to try to deal with this, but Lings, nothing but Lings there in that production tab. 3 Banelings. I don't know if that's enough to take down Taeja here.
He's got to get a lot more speed bait. Needs to really use that creep. A lot of reproduce, but meanwhile, there's another drop into 4th. Taeja is just absolutely everywhere this game.
Yeah, the drop getting a lot of damage done to those drones. Violet having to return back to deal with that. Meanwhile, Taeja with his main army just posturing a little bit, waiting for the medevacs to soak up, to heal them a little bit more. Violet desperately trying to stay in this game and this series. Coming forward with the Lings. The Banelings, I don't know if he has the number to deal with this. Sending forward the Banelings, trying to get those solid connections, but look at the splitting from Taeja, able to pretty much negate any potential damage that could be done. 22 more Lings in production for Violet, but he's running out of units.
Beautiful micro by Taeja, but now, massive Bailey connections. There was no medevacs. The Marines were so hurt, unable to keep stepping back, and Violet finally gets a significant win in a battle, but it might have been too late. He's beat back so badly. The creep's been pushed back. Taeja can afford those losses. Can Violet afford to keep losing and replacing units as well?
Such an intense game here. Of course, Taeja has plenty of mules being worked on that 4th base. He's going to try to secure a 5th at the middle left, but Violet adding on 22 more Banelings. We saw how effective they can potentially be. Still trying to get damage done with these units. Might try to go check on that 5th base, but Violet is still in a lot of trouble. He's down 176 to 137 in supply. He needs some more ingenious Baneling hits to be able to come back in this game, I feel.
He needs them, but I don't know if Taeja will give them to him. This time his army is pretty much all fully healed up. 2 siege tanks here. The Mute is being caught. So many of them going down. The Banelings being distracted by the Hellbats while the tanks take him out.
Oh, going after the Marine, trying to get the shots, getting a decent amount of damage done, but still so many reinforcements here from Taeja. 40 more Lings in production. Ultra's Cavern is about 70% of the way done. I want to look at upgrades really quick. Are they both 3-3?
No, the Zerg player doesn't start 3-3, and he can't quite afford it. Speedbane is coming to front here, but great splitting siege tank shots going off. Taeja's micro is insane.
Violet trying to hold this push off. Banelings trying to get those connections. Great target firing there from Taeja. And GG from Violet. Taeja takes out Azubu's Violet 3-1, and he's going to get an all-expenses-paid trip to the Winter Championship event, showing he doesn't care if he's investing so much time into Wings of Liberty in the GSL. He doesn't care about wrist injuries or whatever that means. He is still the Terran player that is phenomenal at the game of StarCraft 2, which obviously has been extended into Heart of the Swarm. You're going to see Taeja in Dallas.
And he is looking in fierce form. I mean, and this is when he's splitting his attention with Wings of Liberty as well. Within a week, he's only got a week more of GSL. This week is the end of it. He'll be putting all of his effort into Heart of the Swarm, and if he looks this good already, 3 weeks out from now in Dallas, he's going to look just absolutely scary.
These matches in the winter season showdowns are getting better and better. Of course, what a better way to follow up the match from yesterday. That was MC versus Alive. Taeja versus Violet. Pretty much going down to the wire there. Definitely a nail biter. Of course, tomorrow, tune in at the exact same time, 5 p.m. Eastern, for a best of 5, same situation. Hero versus Polt. Can Liquid keep up their momentum? Or can Polt kind of throw a wrench in there? He's been playing phenomenal Heart of the Swarm lately. But we'll have to wait and see. That should be a great PvT tomorrow.
It should be. I mean, I know Taeja will be cheering on Hero, but Polt's got a lot of fans as well. Yep. And, we're talking about Marine Micro being done by Taeja. Polt has some tricks of his own in the Marine department.
Guys, we'll have to find out. Of course, if you missed any game, any match from the winter season showdowns, they are available in full 1080p HD on our website, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. So let that be your source. If you miss any of the games, it's going to be available there. But congratulations once again to Taeja for taking out Violet 3-1. We'll see you tomorrow with Hero versus Polt.